Okay guys, this is a live update from Fox, and I want you guys to hear what the reporter has to say. So let's get into it.
And the defense team is suggesting that Cassie Ventura, whose alleged abuse during Sean Combs' freak-offs, is central to the prosecution's case, not only helped plan the sex parties, but also enjoyed them. The defense attorney brought out explicit messages from 2009, 2 years into the pair's relationship, that show Ventura and Combs coordinating one of those events. It could take place whenever, Ventura wrote when Combs asked what day they should hold it. I'm always ready for a freak-off, LOL. Ventura wrote in a message that the defense had her read aloud before the court. So this is some big takeaways that are going on right now, and just an hour into this cross-examination, and we are seeing a much different light of Cassie than what was presented
But we all knew this was coming, guys. We knew the defense was going to pull this. They were going to make her seem like a willing participant, like she enjoyed this and wanted this to happen to her. And I believe maybe in the very beginning that might have been the case, but I do not believe that once she was starting to get forced into stuff and once she felt like a piece of meat pretty much, that she did not want any of this to happen to her.
The prosecution yesterday and the day before, remember, in the previous days, we heard the prosecution really try to zero in that Diddy was over-controlling and wanted to know exactly where she was at all times and would demand that she call him and let him know where her whereabouts were. But today, much different from the cross-examination, where we are seeing evidence being put in by text message and emails showing a different side of Diddy than what was presented yesterday. We're seeing Cassie really complain to Diddy, saying that she hasn't much time with him, and also that they don't speak on the phone that much. That directly showcases the opposite of what she was talking about yesterday, when she says he would always be on the phone with me and always want to be over at the house, banging on the door, telling him to come on in. So we are seeing a different side already, as this early stage right now of the cross-examination has begun. Also, I want to hit on some of the...
Just remember, guys, they're going to paint her to be like this. They're going to paint her to be like she wanted all this. Like she was in this for the money. She put him out there only for the money. That she enjoyed this. She loved Diddy. She wanted all this to happen to her. She wanted to be urinated on even. They're going to try to get the jury and all of us to believe that. So we knew this was going to happen. Don't get discouraged. Let's just hope she holds her statue, and let's hope that she keeps her courage and handles herself today in court.
The other things that we are seeing in this cross, of course, we are seeing more of a lovey-dovey relationship and correspondence from text messages and emails. And I think one of the biggest takeaways right now is Cassie saying, I want a baby with you. And at that point, Diddy...
Remember, they were together for 10 years, so there was a lot of it. It was probably good times, but it got bad.
Already had 6 children, but she still said, I want a baby with you. So the defense really trying to show the jury, saying, look, she was actively involved in the swinger lifestyle, and she said she loved freak-offs and that she loved to plan them, and was also offering up suggestions as well during the course here of the planning stages for these freak-offs. So that is a major takeaway that we are getting from today, that is in direct opposition to what we heard yesterday, where she felt like freak-offs were just her job, and that she felt that the freak-offs were the only thing that she was able to do. And this is much different today.
Don't you remember her saying she wanted to make him happy? So of course she's going to act like she enjoyed the freak-offs at first. She wanted to make him happy. She wanted him to think she was that type of girl that was going to please him in every way possible.
Hey, from these correspondence and from these emails, text messages that are playing up so key right now, showing just a different side of her, and also in this relationship that was presented and what was by the prosecution just the other day here. So again, worldwide for you, bringing you these updates all in real time. And again, we are continuing to showcase just some more from legal analysts as well. We are breaking it all down for you as this cross-examination does continue.
Yeah, it's going to continue. Hopefully they'll go to lunch soon, but as soon as it does...
Conversations they may have had, Cassie and Diddy, previously about, withholding, releasing them. They're going to be front and center there in the court. The public will not be able to see these videos, but the jurors won't they?
Yeah, so the court today put up privacy screens, so the jurors are going to be able to see the videos, but the folks who are in the courtroom and in the overflow room will not. That's the compromise that essentially Judge Subramanian made in this case. So, in many ways, Diddy is responsible for his own downfall, not because of what he did, which is, of course, is the real reason, but in terms of creating evidence that is going to be used against him. So I'd say the two biggest...
Yep, they say put something on videotape and it never goes away.
Strategic mistakes that Diddy made in this case is, first, not settling with Cassie Ventura. And today the testimony came out that he settled with her for $20 million, and reportedly he wanted to offer only $10 million. Well, we paid that additional $10 million just a few days earlier. We may not even be here today. The second big mistake, of course, is recording those freak-offs, and that evidence will be played, and that, I think, will be the determining factor in this case, just like that 2016 video that we've all seen many, many times.
All depending what is on these freak-off videos and which ones that weren't destroyed, because I know some of them were. We got to see if these are the ones that she was willing participant in, or if these are the ones that she is being violated in and abused and totally out of her mind, and that no jury would think that she was enjoying.
From the hotel here in Los Angeles, so that video evidence is going to be the most powerful.
Yeah, that hotel surveillance video now immortalized in a courtroom sketch by the artist there, which I thought was interesting. Back to the settlement, though, we did finally learn it was divulged in court today. Diddy paying Cassie $20 million in the settlement. This was settled within 24 hours. How important of a piece of the testimony was that today? That was obviously a civil suit that was settled between two parties, but it was settled quite quickly. We were speaking at the time that everyone involved in this case who was following it was so surprised that Diddy settled that quickly, and now we know the amount.
I was shocked.
And now we know why. He didn't want any of this to get out.
That Diddy settled so quickly, and he didn't settle before. So, in November 2023, Cassie Ventura was up against the statute of limitations in New York. The state had opened that window for her to file a lawsuit against Diddy. Many of these claims had run their course. They were barred by the statute. But because there was this window to file, Cassie and her lawyers entered into negotiations with Combs, and reportedly it was only willing to pay $10 million, approximately $1 million for every year of abuse, and she wanted more. The reports at the time were 20 or 30 million. Now we know that number truly is 20 million. Cassie was forced to file the lawsuit to preserve her claims. Combs, of course, settled it the very next day, but it was too late. Lawsuits in this country are public, and once those salacious allegations hit the news media, other people came forward, and now we know there's approximately 100 accusers against Combs. But as far as this case is concerned, Andrew, I think it was important that the prosecution did two things. They brought out really two what may potentially be bad pieces of evidence. The first is the civil lawsuit, that this is really not about criminal justice, but this is about money. Yeah. That argument is going to resonate potentially with some of the viewers and some of the jurors. The other key piece of evidence, bad evidence, that the prosecution elicited today was Cassie Ventura's own violent outbursts, both with respect to Combs himself, but some violent episodes involving others as well, including a young woman that she physically attacked. I think the defense will argue that Cassie Ventura was jealous. She admitted to being insanely jealous, and that she was violent. There's going to be an argument, both during the cross-examination, which begins tomorrow, but as well as closing arguments, that really Cassie was the instigator when it came to many of these violent episodes. Not saying I believe it, but I fully expect the defense to go in that direction starting tomorrow.
Yeah, you can imagine. I mean, she's 8 months pregnant. The stress this is taking on her, the toll that it is taking.
Exactly. I was thinking she's going to end up going into labor during this trial. She's 8 months pregnant. It could happen. And shame. They should have postponed it, I think, a little bit longer. But maybe they had to do it right now for some reason. Maybe they wanted her to be pregnant so she would look a little bit more sympathetic.
While pregnant, while having to testify in this extremely graphic sense. You know, I want to play out some of this sound that we got today. Leaving court was her attorney, Douglas Wigder. He's pretty high profile as far as victims' rights go. So let's just play that. I want to get you to respond to it on the back end. Let's listen to this.
Thank you. Sir, how do you think she did? Powerful testimony today. What was the most powerful part of it? Just the whole thing was powerful, and she told her truth. I wouldn't want to be having to do that cross-examination, that's for sure. Are you worried about how she's holding up being pregnant and having to deal with all that stress? It's always a concern, obviously, given that she's about to give birth, but in the coming weeks, but I'm not going to give a date, but as you can see in court, she's very pregnant. She's about to give birth, but she's holding up strong. I mean, having to recount what happened during those 10 years and beyond, and talking about her contemplation of suicide, really just not well. What do you think really is the part that got to her? It seems like she really talked about their love. She really started to break down about how he just wasn't giving her what she needed, and she really felt that they were in love. I think really just she was numb from the drugs that she was taking and everything that she had gone through, and she realized that she had to tell the truth, and she told the truth.
All right.